What you'll learn. After you finish this lesson, you will be able to define a lead, identify the leads in a standard ECG, explain how the leads and electrodes are related, describe Einthoven's triangle, recognize lead codes. ECG leads. In an ECG, each lead shows a view of the heart from a different angle. Together, the leads give a picture of the electrical activity in the whole heart. By analyzing different leads, the physician can pinpoint the source of certain problems. Recall that wires connect electrodes on the patient to the ECG machine. These wires are called lead wires. Different types of leads are determined by which sets of electrodes are monitored through the wires. A standard ECG includes two main types of leads. Limb leads monitor electrodes placed on the arms and legs. Precordial leads monitor electrodes placed on the chest. Limb leads. 4 electrodes are placed on the limbs. They are labeled as follows: RA for right arm, LA for left arm, RL for right leg, LL for left leg. The electrode placed on the right leg is not used as part of the recording. Instead, it functions as an electrical ground and reference point. The other 3 electrodes are each monitored in 2 different ways. As a result, they are used to create 2 types of limb leads, standard and augmented. Standard leads. The first 3 leads recorded on a routine ECG are called standard leads. They are also known as bipolar leads because they each monitor 2 limb electrodes. They show the electrical activity between the electrodes. These leads are labeled with Roman numerals. Lead 1 shows the voltage difference between the right arm and left arm. Lead 2 shows the voltage difference between the right arm and left leg. Lead 3 shows the voltage difference between the left arm and left leg. Einthoven's triangle. The lines for the 3 standard leads form an imaginary equilateral triangle, and the heart is roughly at the center of it. This triangle is referred to as Einthoven's triangle. It is named after Willem Einthoven, who invented the ECG in 1901. The triangle is used when determining the electrical axis of the heart. This axis refers to the average direction that electricity moves through the heart during ventricular depolarization. Augmented leads. The next 3 leads are called augmented leads. They are also known as unipolar leads because they each directly monitor only one limb electrode. Each one shows the electrical activity between one limb electrode and a point midway between the other 2 limb electrodes. The electrical impulses recorded by these leads are small. As a result, the ECG machine must augment or increase their size in order for the tracing to be readable. These leads are labeled with AV for augmented voltage. Lead AVR shows the voltage difference between the right arm and the midpoint of the left arm and left leg. Lead AVL shows the voltage difference between the left arm and the midpoint of the right arm and left leg. Lead AVF shows the voltage difference between the left leg and the midpoint of the right arm and left arm. Precordial leads. In addition to the limb leads, there are 6 precordial leads or chest leads. They are also unipolar leads. In this case, they each monitor one chest electrode. Each precordial lead shows the electrical activity between a central point within the heart and a specific site on the front of the chest. 6 electrodes are placed across the chest in a certain pattern. The precordial leads are labeled with the letter V, or C, and a number. They monitor electrodes at the following sites. V1, fourth intercostal space on the right side of the sternum. V2, fourth intercostal space on the left side of the sternum. V3, midway between the V2 and V4 positions. V4, fifth intercostal space on the left mid-clavicular line. V5, horizontal to V4 at the left anterior axillary line. V6, horizontal to V4 at the left mid-axillary line. Order for placing precordial electrodes. The precordial electrodes are placed on the chest in the following order: V1, V2, V4, V3, V5, V6. Note that the electrode for V4 is placed before the one for V3. This order is required since the position for V3 is found midway between V2 and V4. Standard number of electrodes and leads. A standard ECG consists of 10 electrodes and 12 leads. 4 electrodes placed on the limbs plus 6 electrodes placed on the chest equal 10 total electrodes. 6 limb leads, including 3 standard and 3 augmented leads, plus 6 chest leads equal 12 total leads. Lead coding. Certain codes are placed on an ECG printout to identify each lead recorded. A common system of marking codes is shown at left. Other coding systems are also used. The assistant should follow the standards set by the place of employment or by the physician. Lesson summary. In this lesson, you learned that each lead in an ECG shows a view of the heart from a different angle. The 6 limb leads include standard leads and augmented leads. The lines for the 3 standard leads form Einthoven's triangle. The heart is roughly at the center of this triangle. The 6 chest leads are known as precordial leads. A standard ECG consists of 10 electrodes and 12 leads. Certain codes are placed on an ECG printout to identify each lead recorded.